German missions to Morocco busy with the Sultan. Fez, Morocco, June 17th. Much significance is attached to the numerous private audiences which Count von Tedenbach, head of the German mission, has had with the Sultan since the arrival here of the British minister, Gerald A. Lothar. There is reason to believe that the principal subject of the discussion has been Germany's willingness to help the Moorish movement in the work of reform, and it is understood that in the event of the ultimate rejection of the proposed international conference on Morocco, Germany will make definite proposals to undertake the reorganization of certain government departments now included in the French reform project. The Morocco Troubles, Washington, April 10th. Commander B. H. McCulls, commanding the United States steamer Enterprise, has made a long report to the Secretary of the Navy in regard to the strained relations at present existing between representatives of the United States and the Moorish government. It is dated at Tangier, March 21st, and states the troubles in detail. After going into the merits of the case, he concludes the rights of the United States established by the convention proclaimed December 21, 1881, previously referred to, and by the Convention of 1863, referred to in Article 10 of the first named convention, have been denied to us, while the same rights under the same convention has been freely accorded to other powers represented in the convention. He recommends that proper measures be taken to establish the claims of the United States, as its trade is likely to increase in that country very largely. Mr. Noah's operation. From countries yet uncivilized, we turn to those which, still withholding the rights of man from the descendants of the patriarchs, are nevertheless more mild and tolerant in their measures, more liberal and generous to an afflicted people. The settlements of the Jews in England was coeval with Julius Caesar. The inroads of the Saxons and Danes have obliterated much of the chronicles and traditions relative to their early existence. William the Conqueror brought with him a large colony from Normandy, and from a stipulated sum of money conferred upon them certain commercial privileges, and assigned them places to inhabit. It was in the feudal ages that the Jews of Britain were the most enlightened, tolerant, and polished. Opulent in circumstances and enterprising in the development of resources, they gave an early impetus and direction to the trade and commerce, which has since successfully extended itself to every quarter of the globe, so they're assisting in colonization. During the reign of William Rufus and Henry II, the Jews were favored and protected, though always considered vassals of the crown, to be tolerated and pillaged according to the caprices of the government. The cruelties practiced towards them during the misguided periods of the Crusades caused many of the most respectable to abandon the country. Several families, however, returned under an invitation from King John to be again pillaged, proscribed, and murdered, and for 500 years their condition underwent no material change, occasionally protected, but too frequently oppressed, deprived of the natural rights of subjects and citizens. It was not surprising if the Jews in England during those periods acquired wealth without consideration and power without respect. During the reign of George II, a bill was introduced in Parliament for the naturalization of the Jews. It was supported by the ministry, though opposed with warmth by the people, and produced great excitement in the public mind. It nevertheless became a law, but such was the strenuous opposition manifested on the occasion that it was considered prudent to repeal it after the ensuing session. The same legal disqualifications still exist in Great Britain, but it is gratifying to know that the government affords the Jews certain rights, immunities, and protections, and our people in that country, in addition to wealth and influence, are rapidly advancing in the career of learning and civilization, of charity and liberal feelings. The miseries inflicted upon our nation in England during the Crusade extend their unhappy consequences to France. The Jews were among the earliest settlers in Gaul, and by their superior talent and advantages endeavored to extend civilization among a rude and barbarous people. Their sufferings, banishments, and massacres during the reign of Philip Augustus, Louis IX, Philip the Fair, Philip the Tall, Charles VI, and several successive kings fill the sanguinary pages of history, and present a list of enormities that makes humanity shudder. In 1566, they were all banished from the kingdom, and in the succeeding year, only 4 families were permitted to return. In the 17th and 18th century, they were gradually permitted to reoccupy their former places of residence, though still exposed to the scorn of the ignorant and the insults of the barbarians. And such feelings were encouraged and perpetuated by an edict of the government, compelling them to wear a distinctive dress. The fury of the Crusaders were perhaps more severely felt by the Jews in Spain than any other part of the world, and more of our people abandoned that country than were brought out of the land of Egypt by Moses. Under the enlightened, liberal Moorish kings, the Jews lived prosperously in Spain, but the destruction of the Moors caused their ruin, and to this day they have been banished the country. Upward of 1 million of Jews speak the Spanish language and will never cease to regret the barbarous edicts which prohibit their residence in that beautiful but neglected pearl of the globe. I'll leave a link in the description for y'all to go over all this, brothers and sisters. Islam, peace and love, divine honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish divine and national movement of the world.
Neuralinks.
What's up, Rami?
Hey, what's all the hubbub?
On my square like cubics, use a drone to shoot down Cupid. I'll storm the Silicon Valley, making antenna to reach the lucid. Tats on the neck like crucifix,
Neuralink.
with broken fuses. Insert USB-C in your flesh, it's time for snoozes. Care less about the guns you got, melting bells when your last shell shot. My beam is like yours, but it's not, it cuts through bones and cobs. Born Muslim son and adder, I know you dirty boys had it. Cause you tired of seeing this pale skim, do what you do but better at it. And I'm emphatic, high self like an addict. Take lower self dragging, throw it down the stairs and spit at it. You hear that kid, I get at it. Baby go, sit here while I float by the words Ali wrote. Coat left to die, hope you can float. Jeans get heavy when the bitches soak. Roman, yo, dots of poke. Next thing you know they'll be saying bloke. Try to turn mother to a ghost, as above so below. Heavenly host, coast to coast it's a vexum. Sweet scimitars and I X them. Almanac's been right and exact. If you find an error, leave a note attached. Sometimes you gotta jiggle the latch, cause the key's so old it'll crack in half. First see me with that fez, they laugh. Now put their hand on their heart when I pass. As you can tell, I've been doing the math. Filling up my tubs and taking a bath. 700 subs, 9.5 won't even be saved by Allah's wrath.
Elon Musk's brain implant company Neuralink said on Thursday it had been given a green light from the US FDA to kickstart its first-in-human clinical study. It's a critical milestone for Neuralink after earlier struggles to gain approval.